Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the Balanced Assessment System webinar for reporting and data literacy for access assessment. On this call, we will be going over the different reports which are available, the DRC testing systems, the different functionalities that are available within the DRC system, and we'll give a demo or we'll go over the entire system and do a demo on this call. So as we begin, we want to talk a little bit about the DTOE Balanced Assessment System Model Representation Diagram. As you know, this webinar is the second in a series of three webinars for Balanced Assessment System. We hopefully will find it valuable to include this graphic which shows the Balanced Assessment System model for the state of Delaware. Notice that each assessment type is color-coded for clarity on how each is integrated. It is important to know that formative and benchmark assessments are assessments for learning, whereas interims and summatives, including state testings, are assessments of learning. The purpose of this module is to provide participants with an understanding of types of reports. I am so sorry. This should have been Access and not PSAT. So we will be going over the reports that are available within the Access assessments and how to use and communicate the data for Access. Reports are available for each type of assessments will be discussed on this. So basically, what we are going to do on this call is we will go over the different functionalities of DRC testing systems, and we will go over the reports which are also available within DRC system. So just a brief on what are we going to cover as part of this this webinar. We will go over the navigation functionalities on basic navigations on how to log in on VIDA AMS system, and then we will look into the different functionalities. We will look into the student management. We'll look into the test management, user management, material management, and then the reports which are available. Okay, and here's a link that is available for VIDA AMS system, all the videos which are available within the VIDA AMS system. You might also want to try, getting a lot of these demos which I'm going to show on this webinar, through this link. A lot of those good, helpful training videos are available for you on this link. All right, with that said, I am going to switch to the DRC system. Okay, I'm just checking here for the screen share. Okay, and so this is the DRC system. The first step would be for you to log in. So I'm going to go ahead and use my login ID and password. By the way, if you need access to DRC, you may reach out to VIDA or DRC directly. The phone number is available and then the email is available, or you can open up a help desk ticket, DOE help desk ticket, and SEA can provide the access to you. So once you have the login ID and password, you will be able to get in the AMS system. And one way to confirm that you have logged in successfully is on the top right corner, you will see your name being displayed. So that you can confirm that you have logged in, and then you are all good to use the functionality. So basically, that's what the homepage is going to look like. Over here on the top left corner, all application, this is where you would need to click in order to go to your operation or the tab that you are interested in. So in this case, we will begin by student management first. We will look into how to search students, how to add students, and how to upload multiple students. So in order to do those operations regarding the student management, you would click on Manage Student. Takes a second or two to come up. And this is the page where you would need to provide the criteria for your operations. One thing to know that every page gives you an instruction, so you can click on the instruction to get some details around what this page is about and how can it help you. So those informations are available for your use. And then, like I said, the first step would be to check the administration. So in this case, we are going to check 2019 and 2020. And if you are looking to search a student, you can directly provide the student ID here, and you can click on Find Students, and then the student result will be displayed here for you. Okay, so for the purpose of this webinar as demo, I'm going to pick the first district and then the first school just for the demonstration purpose. I'm going to click Find Students. As you can see, you have all the list of students for the institution and the district. You can see it across multiple pages. And if you are looking for a particular student, you can search for that student by student ID and, preferably by first name and last name both in order to lower the result of your search. So once you have the information available of the student, you can hover over on the Action tab, and you can view and edit the information of the student. Sometimes you might not have this permission based on the permission that has been granted to you. But if you need to change the grade of the student, or if you would need to change the name of the student, you would follow the same process of opening the DOE help desk ticket, and SEA, who is the access lead, can go ahead and work on the help desk that you have requested. But this is basically how you can see the student's information, their name and the ID, and then the grade. You can also look into all the accommodations for the student. You can choose the accommodations by domain, and these are the embedded accommodations for the assessment. You can pick and then hit save, and those accommodations will be stored for the student. This view also gives you, different other options where you can look for the demographics. If you do not want the student to be tested, you can choose that as well on this page. There are multiple features that you can see and change for this, for the student edit view. Now, if you have to add a student, all you would do is go at the bottom of the page, and you would click right here, Add Student. And like I said, it takes a couple of seconds to come up, and this is where you would need to provide the student. One thing to note is most of the students, I'll say between 90 to 95% or even more students for your institution or your district should already be available for 2019-2020 test administration. For those students who you don't see because they were not included in the pre-ID process, you can always add them manually by going on this page, Add Student, last name, first name, and student ID. Anywhere that you see asterisk, they are mandatory field, and those fields needs to be provided in order to add student. Now, if you have to upload multiple students, let's say you have more than, let's say 10 students, and you don't want to go through the manual process of adding one by one, you can do that by going into upload multiple tab, and you can follow the links right here. There is a file layout, which I'm just going to show you. These are the fields that are going to be, that you would need to fill out. Anywhere that it says required yes, those are mandatory field. and you would need to fill out those information in order to bulk load the students if you have more than 10 or 15 students. So all of those informations are available. Any fields which are not mandatory will be an indicator. It's up to you if you have the information or if you want to leave it blank. That is also totally fine. Now, there is a kind of trick that you can use. When you click on the sample file, a spreadsheet opens for you, and you can use the spreadsheet, leverage it to kind of, and then delete the rest of the records and use the header, file header, and fill out the information for the students. For example, state name, you can say Delaware, and then fill out any of those informations that are mandatory for bulk students, and you can do it that way. Once the file is ready, you can save it on your hard drive, on your desktop, and then you can browse that and then upload bulk students at a single upload. You don't have to manually do it one by one. But like I said, most of the time, 90 to 95% of the time, most of your students should already be available using the pre-ID file load, and those students should already be available. The one thing that you can do is you can search the student first, and if you don't see the student, in that case, you can opt for adding the student, either the manual process or using the bulk process. Okay, so that's all about student management. Let's talk about user management. So in order to see how do you search for users, EL coordinators within your districts or within your school, you can do that by going into User Management tab. Once you are in the User Management tab, you can select the administration year. Once again, 2019-2020. You can select the user role, or you can directly search by email or the person's EL coordinator's first name and last name. If you want to just look for the entire district, you can do that. So if I just pick, for example, Apo district and all school, I can look into all the EL coordinators which are assigned for Apo district. Now, adding the users or uploading multiple users, these functionalities are only provided to SEA. So if you are a LEA, a coordinator, or or DTC, you can do that by two process. You can call VITA and or DRC, or you can do the same process, generate a DOE help desk ticket, provide the user name, school and district name, and email, and an SEA will be able to add the user for you. What you would also need to provide is which role would you need the user to, to have, whether it'll be a school testing coordinator or a DTC level of permissions. Once you provide that, SEA or DRC or VITA can add those users for you. Once you're on the user tab, you have view and edit. You might not have the reset user and delete user functionality. Like I said, because I'm a SEA, I have the state user permission. I do see multiple options. So if a user is no longer active and you let me know that we need to delete this or deactivate this user, I can go ahead and then simply inactivate this user. I can also reset the user if the user had an account but is unable to log in to the DRC account. In that case, I can reset it, and the user should be able to log in the second time. But you should definitely have the view or edit view view option within the action. So when you hover over and then click view, you can see the details for the user, the roles that the user has been assigned. So in this case, this user, the EL coordinator, has a district level of access. You can also see the school. If the coordinator is a TA, you can see all those details over here. Okay, so next we are going to talk about test management, how to print tickets for a test session, how to add test session, and how to search and edit test sessions. All of those test sessions related functionalities are available in test management. So you would go over there and you would click test management. Within test management, you have manage test session. You would click on that. And there you have it. You have all the necessary fields, which it seems like all you would need to provide is the current administration year. So for just a demo, I'm going to select the second school in a district in the list, and I'm going to say show sessions. It will give me the list of all the sessions for 2019-2020 test administration school year for the district that you are searching for. So in your case, it'll be your school or your district. You can search your session name by simply adding your session name here and then clicking on show sessions, or you can search the student for which the student is assigned under which session. You can do that as well. Now, if you want to, and you might have all of these options to hover over in the action category. So if you go into the view and edit, you will be able to see the different students which are assigned to this test session. So generic grade 1, this is the name of the test session, domain is listening, and you will have all the details, and you will see that these are the students who are assigned to this test session. Now, if you want one of the student to not be in this session, you want to transfer to a different test session, you can remove the student from this by clicking that student and transferring that to available student category and then saving it. Then you would have the test sessions with only so many students in the session. In order to print tickets for a test session, you would need to hover over the print all tickets button. When you click on that and then scroll down to second page or third page, you would have all the tickets for the student. You would see the student name, sorry, the student ID, not the name, student ID and student information, the domain name, the session name, and then the username and password for which this ticket is. So you can have that, you can print it out, and after the test session is complete, you can just discard the tickets. Okay, so I think we covered all of them. The only one thing that we need to see is adding a test session. So these are the generic test sessions which are created using the pre-ID. If you have to create your own test session, you can do that. I believe yes. So the additional, I'm sorry, the test setup, the VITA AMS test setup will be available starting January 24th through March 27th. So because we are not in that window yet, you will not be able to create the test session. But once the test setup is available starting January 24th, you will be able to create your own session, and then you can have your students within that session. And it's basically the same. You can name your test session, you can add students to your test session, you can remove the students from your test sessions, and then you can save it. Once you save it, you will get a note here on the ribbon saying your session was successfully created, and then you can basically test your student on that test session. Now, let's look into the material management. So as you know, using the pre-ID file, most of the material, all the materials are shipped using the pre-ID file. And for Delaware, the testing window, as you know, opens on February 3rd through March 20th. The materials are expected to arrive on January 23rd. But let's say if you have a scenario where you don't see the student and you have to order additional material, you can do that. You just have to remember that the additional test material window in AMS will open starting January 23rd through March 13th. These timelines are provided to your DTCs in the weekly meetings and monthly DTC meetings. So these timelines are available. So once the additional testing material window opens up, you can order the materials by going into the material tab, additional material, and you can order the material by clicking here. Once you click here, right now it's not going to allow me to do that because it's going to say it's currently logged. But once a window opens, you can always order. Once you hit the add order, you will see a grid. I'm going to show you the screenshot. So it's going to look like this. You will have the grid information here. You can add the request quantity and in the additional material entry grid, enter the material counts for the additional material, the district require, and then once you're done, you can hit submit. So this is how you would, add additional order. Now, if you want to find your order, once you place an order, if you want to track it, you can do that once you click on find your order and your order number or request number. That gives you an option once you click find order to edit your order. If you have to edit the quantity of the order or if you have to delete the order, you can do that once you place an order by using your order number and find order, similar to this screenshot here. Once you click find order, you can go into edit or you can go into delete. Okay, so that's basically the additional material ordering. This is how you're going to do it. Now, the last part is the reports, which I want to briefly talk about. Within DRC system, you have many number of reports that you can use. These are data reports to track your students, your rosters as the students are testing, or you have reports after the test is completed. So you go into report delivery. This is where you would need to go in order to track the status of testing of your students. And then once the testing is complete and the reports are available, you would need to go here, test results. So for the purpose of this webinar, we are going to start with status reports. Once you click into that, again, you might or might not have this functionality. If you're not a DTC, and if you don't have it, and if you need access, you can always reach out to your DTCs, and the DTC should be able to open the file and then transfer the file to you. So basically, on this one, you have different types of reports. You can search for the cumulative student status report. What it means is all the students in a test session, irrespective of whether they have started to test or they have not started to test, you can see all cumulative student status on this report. If you are looking for the progress report on how many students completed the test, how many are in progress status, you can click on the daily student. This is where it displays, it shows a test start, submit times, test ticket, daily test. So I'm pretty sure it's the status of the report. You will need to go here. Now, if you're DTC or district, they are looking for an overall district level report. They can also do that by going over here. This gives you the district level, or how many total students within the districts have been registered, how many completed and not completed, and all those details. Now, once the testing is complete and the test reports are available, the scores are available, you can go into the test result tab. Within this tab, you can pick your report from the report dropdown, or you can just say show report. Because I'm in 2019, I'm going to pick previous year. Now I'm going to, so this is what I was saying, you have a drop down for all the reports available, or you can go into show reports. And you probably wouldn't have this long list of reports because a lot of these are only SEA reports, but you probably would have a lot of the roster reports right here. So if you click on, let's go into page 2. Yeah, so this is the student's report card. You have by English and Spanish. I'm just going to give you a quick sample. So in this case, you can see all the domain, the proficiency level, the scale score, and then the overall score. You can have all of those details. You can have the same format in Spanish as well. Now, if you're looking to see a roster view of report, you can click on this one. It will give you a roster view of how many total students are within the roster and the scores by each domain and then the overall score. You can also use the frequency report, which is a summative view. It gives you the different levels, level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 for access assessments, all the way from entering to reaching. And then you can see how many percentage of the students, tested for listening and how many were, in level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, a breakdown, by each level. You can have that level of, view as well on this report. So that basically completes all the functionalities that are available. Once again, if you don't have access to VITA, you may reach out to, the AMS DRC, you may reach out to VITA, or you can contact DRC 1-800 number, or you can raise a help desk ticket, and a SEA will be able to provide you. The one more thing that I would like to remind is there are training videos available, and these videos are extremely helpful, and these are short videos, as 2 minutes, 3 minutes long, for all the functionalities that we went through on this call. You can have some more details. You can always check it out and find it helpful. And finally, you have your point of contacts by assessment. So for VITA and Access, that would be me. My name is Samir Tiwari. You can send me an email with your questions regarding this webinar or in our VITA or Access in general, and I will be responding to your questions. That said, are there any questions from anyone on the call? Okay, if there are no questions, we will go ahead and end this webinar. Once again, I look forward to your questions.
I'm sorry, Samir, I did have one question. So the question was about uploading student accommodations for Access. Do those have to be done individually, or is there a way to mass upload the accommodations like I can as I mass upload students into VITA AMS?
Sorry, I'm talking on mute. Sorry about that. It's my understanding, accommodation. We have a point of contact from our DOE. I will reach out to you, reach out to her to confirm. But it's my understanding that accommodation is done by student level and not by bulk level. I might be wrong. There might be a functionality where you can do a bulk file, but that's something that I'll have to reach out and confirm. Can I have your name or your email ID so I can reach back out to you with the confirmation of that answer?
Sure, I'll put that in the chat box.
Okay, that would be great.
My follow-up question to that is there any way that we can align the format of the paper copy that DOE provides with what is actually represented in VITA AMS? the challenge that I have every year is the order in which accommodations show up on the paper version don't match the online version, and the rows that are available online also include a draft version of the test that does not it is very it could be confusing. Students could miss accommodations or get additional accommodations just because of the differences in the layout.
And the layout you said is different from the paper copy and the online copy?
Correct. It has been in the past. Maybe it's been updated, but it has been in the past.
Okay. Like I said, I will reach out to Michelle. She is our accommodation point of contact, and I have those 2 follow-up questions that I will work on and get back to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, if not, thank you everyone for joining. I look forward to hearing your questions. If you have any, please, feel free to email me and I'll get back to you with your answer. Thank you so much. Have a great day.